and welcome to another edition of CEO Unplugged. I'm Scary Jones from Elvis Duran and the Morning Show, hanging out with Andre Basso. I hope I pronounced that properly. Is that right? Is it Basso?
Yes, it's Basso. It's an Italian name.
A nice Italian guy right here.
Yeah.
Andre's the CEO of Mountainside Treatment Centers. We're going to get into that in just a second. First of all, welcome to CEO Unplugged. I love this series because we get to see and hear from the tastemakers themselves. You're a tastemaker. Did you know that?
All right. I didn't know that, but I'm happy that I'm on your list.
Well, I mean, you're a leader, you know, and there's a lot of people that actually watch this series also that want to know. They may be an entrepreneur. They may want to be a CEO of a company, and they want to know what it takes and how you got there and how you got your start. So first of all, before we go any further, how did you get into this profession?
Well, I'm Brazilian, so I worked in Brazil for a long time with different opportunities and different industries. I was a consultant for a long time, and that was how I met the founder of Mountainside Treatment Center, and he invited me to come to the U.S., help the business to grow, and basically he told me, well, we have a lot of people that we need to help to get rid of addiction and have a better life. Mm-hmm. And that's something that motivated me very much.
Right.
So I moved to the U.S. in 2017.
Okay. And then you just joined Mountainside shortly after that?
Yeah, I came for this job. Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a bold statement right there. You actually moved out of your country because you wanted to be, you've had this passion about Mountainside.
Yes. I think that the mission and the purpose of a company like this is really unique, is really helping people to be happier and healthier. And that's something that, for me, especially from my background and as a kind of a life mission for me,
sure,
it's something that I want to do.
Well, let's break it down. For people who don't even know, why don't we start from the beginning? What is Mountainside? Explain to everybody, what can be done there and what people would use Mountainside treatment centers for.
So Mountainside is an alcohol and drug addiction treatment center here in Connecticut. And we have also, not only in Connecticut, in Connecticut is our detox and our inpatient services. And we also have outpatient services in Connecticut, New Jersey, New York. Okay, so we are kind of a lead company in the industry in terms of quality and innovation for treatment. We have been at the White House, showing the White House what we do and in the past and how innovative it was, our program. And today we are one of the three companies in the country, tri-accredited per se, accredited with 3.7 American Society of Addiction Medicine, CARF, and TJC. That's very important for us because the accreditation shows from a very concrete perspective the quality and how serious we take the addiction and behavioral health treatment that we provide.
Congratulations, by the way, because that is not an easy feat to be where you guys are. You guys are at the top of the mountain.
Yes, right now, yes. And we are very proud of that. And our mission statement also states that our purpose is to raise the bar in addiction treatment. So that's what we strive to do. We really try to find innovative ways and evidence-based treatment, also with outcomes using from our alumni history that are going to drive more effective, more efficient, and more sustainable treatment for our clients.
Yeah. You guys obviously had to make adjustments like everyone else, right? This past year, COVID-19 has changed everything. So how has that impacted what you guys do at Mountainside and the people that you serve?
Well, I think that most important, it affected society very much. So the Kaiser Family Foundation published a survey that showed that 40% of people in the United States had signs of increased anxiety and depression in February this year. So after almost a year and a half in kind of quarantining and isolation and not being able to exercise the tools that we had at our disposal in the past to alleviate the pressure. People are breaking down and burning out. And that's also showing in the increase in opioid overdose that we saw in more than 40 states in the US throughout the pandemic when it started. So a lot of people needing help. We saw an increase in alcohol use. We saw an increase also in stimulants. Methamphetamine, for example, cocaine are going high again in terms of use. And from our perspective, what we had to do, we had to adjust our procedures, even our infrastructure in terms of number of rooms, how we receive the client here, precautions in terms of PCR testing, antigen testing, so we can keep our community safe, our staff safe, our clients safe, while we deliver the proper care that they need. We also had to readdress how people should take care of themselves, not only from our clients, of course, but our staff. We had to talk to staff in terms of vaccination, precautions, how to be careful and continue to live their life, adjust the company very quickly to a telehealth, to be a telehealth provider for our clients. And I'm very happy to see that now we have very flexible telehealth tools available not only to our clients, but to anybody that wants to attend free virtual groups. So it was a lot of change in a very fast pace. Because
telehealth can be very effective, right? Why don't you explain a little bit about telehealth and what that means? I mean, obviously, not much different from what we're doing right here. We're on a Zoom call, correct?
Yes. Well, I think that the telehealth for behavioral health is a turning point in terms of services provided to society. When you talk about behavioral health and mental health issues, there's a stigma around it, okay? So people don't discuss that very openly. I don't know if you have kids, I have kids, and if my kid needs help because they have, I don't know, a pain in the shoulder because they were playing soccer or football and they hurt, you talk to your friend. Hey, my kid has a pain in the shoulder. Do you know any doctor? Do you know any treatment? But if my kid has a mental health or behavioral health issue, I usually don't talk that much. I'm not that open to discuss the situation. So my ability to reach out to resources is greatly diminished by that.
But why is that? Why does our country treat mental health differently than physical health? Like there's a clear difference in how that's handled, right? Or is it because of the way a person feels inside?
I think the stigma also creates a kind of a shame. So did the family fail? Did the person fail? Did I fail as a dad? So there's a lot of emotions included in that. And basically addiction tears apart the family and the relationships. And people really don't know how to approach. And there's also a misunderstanding in the society right now, despite the improvement in the recent years. But people think that, well, if you are drinking too much, just try to control yourself.
It's not that easy.
Yes. So people think more like a will thing instead of an addiction, as a disease. We already know by science that addiction is ingrained in your brain and rewires your brain in a way that even if you want really that hard, that's not easy to do. It's a disease. It's a situation that you need help. And thank God, and thanks to science also, we have now medicated assisted treatment that are helping the process to be more treatment-driven, client-driven, than stigmatized by the society.
It sounds like Mountainside has a way of identifying and working with and actually helping people based on their personalized, like a personalized situation, right? Because you just can't just throw something over and say, okay, this is all blanketed as this is mental health, this is physical health, and that's it. Everyone has an own individual way. And so obviously you guys are well equipped to handle, when somebody, comes in. I want to get into that. Could you explain to me what can someone expect when they go in? Let's say they're receiving treatment for alcoholism or even
Of
or
course.
drug addiction.
Yeah, we usually the first step is a kind of detoxification, and depending of the drug use, or if it's alcohol or cocaine or heroin or any other drug, that the kind of drug and the frequency of use is going to dictate the individualized approach that the company is going to deliver, that Mountainside is going to apply for that specific individual. Okay, of course, we have medical protocols and there's evidence-based treatments that we're going to use, but everything is catered to that specific person. So there's a detoxification period. It's a kind of a more medically approach a process that's going to help the person to get rid of the toxins and the effects of that drug that is bringing the person to treatment. So after 3 to 7 days usually of detoxification, the person then goes to what we call a clinical, more inpatient treatment. So in the clinical stage that we call sometimes residential, and that's usually the phase of the treatment that you see people saying rehab. When they talk rehab, that's the kind of treatment that we're talking about. We try to provide clinical services tailored to that individual to address not only the addiction, but co-occurring disorders that are going to help them rebuild their skills in how they connect to other people, how they connect to society, how they cope with their anxiety, trauma history, or any other situation that could be in the way of having a happier and healthier life. Mm-hmm. Throughout this process, that usually takes 30 to 45 days, and the longer the better, we also embed in the process wellness offerings that are going to help you rebuild your ability to be happier and healthier without the drug. Because basically, a person that has an addiction develop all the happiness that the person is trying to seek comes from the drug. Okay.
So there's a multi-layer approach here. There's, from the physical, and then, you get into mental health as well. So you guys, I'm trying to understand. So a program could last how long? You said 30 to 45 days.
So after residential or after the clinical approach,
right,
then it starts what we call outpatient. When you go back to your life,
right,
and usually you should be keeping the appointments to talk about the process of rehabilitation. And after that, you can go for a sober living, a structured sober living that's going to help you rebuild your professional skills. You can go for recovery coaching. It's a peer-to-peer approach. It's kind of a coach to help you throughout your daily challenges to cope with that. Yeah. And we can have also telehealth and virtual groups. So basically, Skiri, the longer you stay connected to some kind of tool, the better outcome is going to have in your recovery. So ideally, 365 days would bring you close to 90% chance of never having an addiction situation again. If you're really dedicated, if you have a good treatment, if you have good professional support in you, okay? So the longer you stay in the path, the better for you. Mm-hmm. But addiction, again, is a lifelong recovery. So once your brain is rewired with drug use, you are never going to have the brain pre-addiction again. So you need to understand how to evolve and engage in a new way of life that's going to bring you happiness and healthy without the drug use.
Yes. Wow. Now, if someone is thinking about something like this, how do they go about choosing a reputable treatment center? Maybe Mountainside is not accessible to them, or maybe it is, but what would a person look for in a reputable treatment center overall?
Well, first, I think that very important to check if the rehab location or the company is able to show you accreditations, not because the accreditation is the main objective here, But if you are accredited, it shows that you were exposed to somebody to check you.
Hmm.
So you were willingly opening your door to be checked and to be, okay, I can prove what I'm saying I can do.
By a
Okay?
third party comes in
Yes,
and makes sure. I
yes.
understand. That's accredited.
Okay,
I
so
understand.
that's important. I think that the clinical and medical experience of the team that's going to
Hmm.
treat you or treat your loved one, that's very important. So if the company that you are trying to use, the treatment that you're trying to use, is able to show you the
Right.
expertise and qualifications, better for
Hmm.
you. I think that programming is very important, so you can have a very good glimpse in terms of what is the program going to show me or provide my loved one. Is that going to be conducive to the treatment that I expect? That's also important. And finally, I think that is crucial that people look at the reputation or the satisfaction. And nowadays we have a lot of tools for that. So you
Hmm.
can check that in different sites, in Google reviews, Facebook reviews, and I think that the more transparent, the better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, Mr. I'm calling you Mr. Basso. Andre, can I call you Andre for
Andre,
this?
please. Oh, of course.
Andre. You know, so listen, they say there's a saying that addiction is a family disease. So what available, help is there for families? Because it's not just the person being affected, but it's the
Yeah.
people in their world.
Yes. Once we have an addiction situation, that situation contaminated everything. All the relationships, the family relationships, work relationships, and it's important also to provide support to the family. So at Mountainside, we provide family wellness groups. We have workshops, we have seminars, we have groups specifically for that. Even telehealth groups, virtual groups, and that's crucial not only to help the family but also the person that's in treatment, so they can connect in a more healthy way. And when we say healthy way, is not only to be more tolerant, more understandable, is also to hold firmer boundaries
Mhm.
sometimes.
Wow, this has really been super informative. I have to say, I did want to ask you one thing though regarding being a CEO coming from Brazil to this huge, you stepped into some huge shoes, at Mountainside. If somebody is going down this road, in the world that you followed, how do you? I mean, it's so hard to answer in just a sentence or two, but how do you suppose they get there? What is your advice? What's your best advice for people in this industry that want to become a leader like yourself?
I think that leadership is not something really that you follow a recipe, isn't it? I think that,
No.
and you know that. How can I be a successful radio entrepreneur? Um, it's not that simple. But I think that the main point here, and I'm talking by my experience here, is I think that you have to identify what's your mission in life. I chose to help people, so my what drives me every day, and in previous jobs and in this job especially, is I want to be a good person and I want to help people. And I think that that drives me, and that creates the grip that I use in my day-to-day life. I think that if that's going to give you the opportunity to be a leader, that's a different situation. But I think that everything that you do with your whole heart is going to give you a leverage to be on the front line, to be advocating for change. And I think that all these situations are going to inevitably
Right.
give you the opportunity to shine. And I think you should go for that.
Absolutely. So more than just a paycheck in life. If you're motivated by other things, something that you want
Yeah.
to be a good person, then there's your calling right there. And that's some good advice.
All right. Yeah, because everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody wants to
Right.
be the CEO, to be the
Right.
successful entrepreneur.
Sometimes
But
people are they just like I just want to be the boss, or they're just. But what the answer you gave is so important because you're driven by other things, not just I want to be have the power or anything like that. So That's fantastic. This has really been eye opening. I appreciate your time here. If people want to get in touch with you guys, maybe check out Mountainside. What's the website? Anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Yes, I think that our website is www.mountainside.com. We are available on social media as well. And what I really want to stress is addiction can't wait. And I think that sometimes the families and the loved ones is kind of, I don't know what to do. Oh, well, maybe I should look for help, but I don't know where should I look for help. Please don't wait. It's very important to address the situation as early as you can. Yeah. And Mountainside is here to help. We have other good companies in the field as well, but Mountainside is here to help you. So Great. Please reach out.
Andre Basso, thank you so much for spending some time today. I know you got a very busy schedule.
My pleasure.
You took some time out. Here it is. The CEO of Mountainside Treatment Centers. Get in touch with them. Until next time, I'm Scary Jones, and we want to thank you for watching the CEO Unplugged.